Want to build a new home and not sure how to do it? Or maybe you're thinking of building a new home like this and you're not sure where to start. Well, then this video will give you the answer. I'm Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates, and in this video we're going to be talking about new construction in the Madison area. If you're wondering what the process looks like of building a new home in today's market, well then you've come to the right place. So building a new home in Madison area, you've got basically two options. One, you could either buy a new spec home that's already built, or two, you can find a lot to build on and choose all the finishes and floor plan and everything you want. Okay, let's dive into option number one. Finding a new spec home that's already built. So in this situation, the builder already owns the lot and they've made most of the decisions for building the home and construction. They chose the finishes. They have usually because they have a pretty good idea of what's going to be selling in today's market. This is often the fastest and the easiest way to buy a brand new home. In fact, one of the reasons it's so fast and easy is that all those decisions have been made, right? I mean, if you've ever gone to a home flooring store, for example, or a tile store, there are an infinite number of choices of all of the above. So in this situation, if you kind of struggle with that decision fatigue, then this could be the best option for you to get a brand new home where all the decisions have been made. And it's just a matter of going in and seeing it for what it is, and if it's something that you like or not. And if so, and if you want to buy a spec home, we can help. Option number two, you can find a lot to build on. So in this, it's usually a planned development. A lot of some of the larger builders, for example, in the Madison area, they may own multiple lots or several, or the entire lot plan within a development, and you can choose which lot you want them to build on. Or maybe you found a lot in a more rural location, or maybe you want to buy an existing structure like on one of the lakes, for example, and you want to tear down that existing structure and build your dream home right on Lake Monona, for example. That's certainly happening a lot. So in this situation, you're going to have a lot more involvement and a lot more choices, but you need to set up and find what kind of plan do you want to build. So are you going to enlist that plan through the builder or an architect, or find another local draftsperson, or check out some other local website to get a house plan. And once you've identified a plan, then you need to see the site and I'd make sure the plan is going to fit on the site and how exactly it's going to fit. And make sure you follow all the setback requirements and things like that. Then you need to price out the plan, right? So if you're going to build something 2, 3, 4, 5,000 square feet, however big it's going to be, what is the pricing to build that out according to the specifications in the plan. Once you get everything agreed upon between you and the builder and everything else, then you're going to need to make sure you sign off on all those approvals and get agreement on that before we can start digging, because you'll need to get your building permit in place in order to start digging, pouring the foundation, and then doing the framing and the roofing and the siding and the windows kind of following after that. Next comes the mechanicals and the electrical, the plumbing, if you're doing any surround sound, and then of course finishing it off with the drywall, the paint, then flooring, trim, cabinets. All those other fine touches are going to come after that. So if you want to learn more about either buying a spec home in the Madison area or finding your perfect lot to build on starting from scratch, we're here to help.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about some of the differences maybe between a spec home and a custom built home. All right, so first of all is timelines. I mean, how soon do you want to be in your new home? I mean, if it's like right away, a spec home might be already built and you just need to, make your offer and then get the contract accepted and then get your financing approved, and you could be in that new home within 30 days, for example. But if, maybe you already have a home and you want to take your time and start from scratch, you want to do a full custom home, you've already decided maybe that's what you want to do, well, the timeline to do that, obviously is going to take a lot longer. You got to find the lot, you got to have your selections, your plans, your choices, all that stuff, and it could take 6 to 12 months to build out your home and finish it out. Or if you're, building your luxury dream home, it could take easily maybe a year or two to finish it out. Especially if there's any change orders or complications throughout the building process. What's your timeline? How soon do you want to be into a new home? Spec home, right away. Custom build, it's going to take at least 6 months probably before they can get everything finished up. what else? How else does it differ? Okay, let's talk about pricing, right? So price per square foot is often a metric that people like to use, right? Looking at properties. Okay, so I did some research before this and searched out 500 homes, brand new homes that were built in 2023. Out of those 500 homes, average price per square foot, $250. Okay, there you go. Average, and it was actually the median was the same price, $250 a square foot. Great, so you can build a brand new home for around $250 a square foot. Hold on, whoa, wait, guess what? That number varied dramatically, okay? We had a huge range. There were some homes that were as low as $153 a square foot, and some homes that were as high as $378 a square foot. Okay, so there can be a huge amount of variability based on a lot of things, right? The finishes and all those things, and the size and the footprint, and what you put into the home. You know, was the basement finished or not finished? Did it have vaulted ceilings or not? Some of those things, you know, they may change the overall cost of the home, but don't necessarily influence the price, the square footage as much, right? Which some builders that I've talked to, they hate quoting price per square foot for that same reason, right? I mean, they may put in, you know, lots of a big extra beam or trusses or additional upgrades within the home. Well, it doesn't change the footprint at all. It doesn't change the square footage, but it absolutely adds cost. You know, maybe you want a lot of concrete around, right? Maybe you're doing an outbuilding on a larger parcel or something like that. You know, that concrete cost or those landscaping costs or even that outbuilding, you know, they're not necessarily a part of the price per square foot of that main structure, the main house. So that maybe isn't accounted for. You know, the other thing to think about is out of that number, that 250 a square foot number, those are mostly spec homes. So, you know, custom homes are sometimes harder to get that data on because so much of it, it's not readily available, and it varies dramatically based on the customer and the client and what they want. So keep that in mind, but those are some of the big changes that can influence the price and the price per square foot. So, all right, let's talk what else is different. Well, let's talk about upcharges or change orders, right? Have you heard of those, right? You get locked in on a new home and suddenly there's change orders. You think it's gonna be this price and it ends up being that price. Well, on a spec home, right, the home's already built, there's no choices and selections, pretty much everything's already made. So you go in and decide, yep, I think it's worth this price, let's make the offer and make it happen, versus, you know, the custom home, could be lots of changes, right? I mean, you might start with the price here, and if the price of some of those finishes, depending on when you make those choices, you know, that may change, right? The price of lumber changes every day a little bit, right? And during COVID, for example, we had a big change in pricing of new building materials. So those numbers are always changing, but you know, pretty much on the custom build, you know, you could have a change order anytime there's a change or to the structure or selection or anything like that. And those additions and changes, you know, they could easily add to 5 to 10% of the base cost of the home, you know, or more, depending on what you end up choosing. So, and it could be, well, where it could be more is if you totally change your mind, right? Oh, we wanted a 2-story and we want it to look like this, and this, and you know, they break ground and start doing everything. Well, if you change your mind halfway through, nope, I want it oriented this way, I want a ranch, I want something totally different, or, you know, an extra wall bumped out, like those can be very costly upgrades and changes. So changing your mind can be a very expensive thing. The other thing, I guess, related to that though, is sometimes hard because can you visualize the home? Can you imagine what the home would look like if it's not there? If you walk out to a piece of land, can you envision where it would be? Where would your living room be? Where would the, you know, master bedroom be? And what would your view be? And what would that look like? You know, because a lot of times on a custom home, you can't see it. It's not built yet. So it's really hard for a lot of people sometimes to visualize what that's going to be, you know, and, you know, should I put a window here or not? I mean, you're looking at a piece of paper and a plan, and, oh, I don't know, I don't even think about it. But if you stand in a room and the house is already built, you know, you walk through that spec home, you can totally visualize the space. You can see, oh, this would be a good spot for how this is laid out, or I like how this is laid out or not. And so, you know, if you're one of those persons that really needs to walk through the home in order to visualize it, then spec home might be the right choice for you. I hope you found this video helpful. If we can be of any service to you as in your search for a new construction or building a new home or a spec home or a custom home, feel free to reach out to our team.
I'm Josh with Josh Lavik and Associates, and we're here to help be your resource and your guide in finding new construction in the Madison area. Feel free to reach out to our team at 608-440-9886. That's 608-440-9886. Thank you.